that has left the continent of Africa a smoldering husk of human misery. Experts are calling it the Omicron variant, Omicron being a Greek term that apparently means history-ending apocalypse. Even in Africa, a part of the world sadly familiar with suffering, Omicron is like nothing the authorities have ever seen. Consider the nation of Botswana, a landlocked country in southern Africa about the size of France. Yesterday, officials there reported that 2 people may possibly have died from the Omicron variant. Now, it's true that many more people in Botswana died yesterday from malaria, AIDS, diarrhea, drowning, car crashes, choking on peanuts, domestic disputes, agricultural accidents, and also just because in the end, human beings tend to get old and die. Statistically, that is a valid observation. But it does not lessen the existential terror the rest of us feel knowing that Omicron exists. No, it certainly doesn't. As the chairman of the Federal Reserve announced yesterday, thanks to Omicron, and not at all due to the criminally reckless decisions that he has made personally, but thanks to Omicron, our economy is going to be terrible for a long time. And we're definitely going to need a lot of mail-in ballots in the coming midterm elections for your safety, of course. And vaccines? Oh yes, we're going to need a lot more vaccines. In addition to the 2 you probably already had, you're going to need a 3rd vaccine, at least. Pfizer's orders. Watch.
With the new Omicron variant sweeping the globe, how do we finally put an end to this pandemic? How do we save lives and get business back to normal so everybody can put dinner on the table? Simple. The federal government needs to require vaccines, including booster shots, for everyone in America by, say, January 1st. So it's time to admit that we have to go to war against COVID. Require vaccination universally. Have the military run it. If you don't want to get vaccinated, you better be ready to prove your conscientious objector status in court. And even then, you need to help in the war effort by staying home until we finally beat this thing.
Yeah, have the military run it. The U.S. Army is going to force you to get your 3rd injection. That's how serious Omicron is. This from the guy who demanded you keep your money in Bear Stearns 5 days before it disappeared completely. So you can definitely trust what he's saying. This stuff is scary. The national media are highly upset about Omicron. Listen to the deep concern.
I believe that states and local jurisdictions and businesses that have let go of indoor mask mandates, they should bring it back as well as an additional step to protect against Omicron.
They are preparing for the worst potentially. We heard the president yesterday urging people to go get their booster shot.
I do see targeted lockdowns. I see those for the unvaccinated. I see many more restrictions being introduced for the unvaccinated, where they can go, how they can go.
I think we may indeed be in for a phase of many more masks, much more social distancing, and more restrictions and obligations for vaccination going forward.
Well, yeah, look what's happening in Botswana tonight. So we're going to get more vaccines and, quote, lockdowns for anyone who resists getting the injection. And we're not joking this time. Omicron's here. It's a whole new pandemic. So to assess just how terrified you ought to be in this moment, we are joined tonight by the world's premier COVID reporter, Alex Berenson, whose brilliant new book, Pandemia, is out today and is on sale. And of course, we highly recommend. Alex Berenson, thanks so much. Congratulations on the book. Thanks for joining us tonight. So we're being told that Omicron, which apparently has destroyed the continent of Africa, is a justification for a brand new set of restrictions, vaccines, lockdowns. Assess this, if you would.
I mean, this is a joke, Tucker. It's a joke, and I think people are no longer scared. They're no longer fooled by it. A, they have no idea if this variant is more dangerous or less dangerous. And in fact, the people in South Africa who've treated people with it say it's less dangerous. They say it's milder. B, it looks like the spike in cases that looked so scary about a week ago or 10 days ago in South Africa may have been due to an artifact in testing, meaning the South Africans started to accept antigen tests, which are cheaper and easier to perform, and there may just have been a whole bump of those. So this thing may not even spread more rapidly. C, if it is as different as they're saying, vaccinations aren't going to work very well against it. We already know that vaccinations fail in a matter of months against infection and transmission after the 2nd dose, and it looks like Delta is worse in terms of being able to evade vaccinations. There's a debate about that, but it looks that way. So if this variant is more highly mutated, you would expect it to be even more able to evade vaccines. And in fact, Moderna's CEO, the decibillionaire Stefan Bancel, said a few hours ago, said about a day ago, that he thought, or his scientists are saying, that they're of course going to need a new booster. They're going to need to figure out, a new mRNA jab for this. So this is nonsense, and the real reason for it is probably twofold. A, nobody wants to get boosters. Threefold. B, the vaccine mandates are collapsing, and now all three of them have been stayed by federal judges. The CMS, the OSHA, and the federal contracting mandates are all on hold, so there's no mandates right now in the United States. And people don't want to get their kids vaccinated, and the powers that be are very well aware that vaccines are failing, and they want to blame this thing. And it's not going to work. People are done being scared, and frankly, Tucker, I mean, I'm so busy reading sort of scientific papers that people send me and trying to figure out what's really going on with vaccine failure and potential vaccine dangers that I had no idea that the hysteria was like this on CNN and these other channels. Yeah. It's insane. And
I'd like to say one thing about.
Sure.
Well, please. Well, I just can't resist. So if you were really worried about this new variant, where's the point in the pandemic where we talk about treatments for people who've been infected? People who've been vaccinated are getting infected. Where are the treatments, and why is nobody even mentioned? Like, what the hell? Where's the treatment?
Well, so there is a treatment from Pfizer. I almost hesitate to say it, but there's a new drug from Pfizer where the early results look very good, and we'll see if that actually makes a difference. Here's the thing about Pandemia, the book that's out today, right? So in writing it, I really got to look at the scope of the last 2 years and the lies and the misstatements and the mistakes and how they were wrong about school closures, wrong about lockdowns, wrong about test and trace. They appear to have been very wrong about vaccines too. They've been wrong about everything. They are never held accountable, and at some point, people are just going to stop listening. I think it's happening more quickly in the United States because we have a stronger constitution, and frankly, we have a somewhat surlier population. But I have to believe it's going to happen in Europe too.
You gotta think, I mean, this is such a longer conversation. I hope you'll come back for one, but just in 3 sentences, people's faith in public health authorities and in doctors, which I think we really need. We need faith in those institutions. Seems to be evaporating very quickly because of their misbehavior. Do they understand that?
I don't know, but they need to. And honestly, if you read the book, you'll understand why. They have been wrong. They haven't admitted they've been wrong, and they're doubling down on it. And, we talked about this a little earlier, Tucker. We cannot let them walk away from this. We cannot let them try to rewrite history. The losers don't get to rewrite history.
Yes, that is exactly right. Alex Berenson, someone who cares about facts and has been through a relentless harassment because of it. The book is Pandemia. It's out today. We appreciate you coming on tonight, and congrats on the book.
Thanks so much.